Hey guys, how are we doing? I've not done many pieces to camera because the midge has been out. In fact, they're still out, but there's a wee breeze here. So I thought I'd just stop and give you an explanation of what I'm doing today, what I'm expecting, and just an introduction to the video. So I'm in a magnificent location, which I'm not going to give away just yet. But you can't really see it because the clag is in, unfortunately. But my hope today is that I'm going to get above the cloud. There has been a forecast for inversion conditions, and if I do that, I'll be extremely happy. I think if I can get above the cloud in this mountain range, the views from the top will be spectacular. The time's 7 o'clock now. I left about 20 minutes ago. I slept in the van last night. I'm really tired. I've been out for the last 6 days on the trot because I've been on holiday for a week. So yeah, I'm feeling it a wee bit better. Look at this lovely wee babbling brook behind me, and I'm going to be heading up behind this white house here, up into the mountains. So enough talking, let's get walking, and fingers crossed we get an inversion today. Right, let's go, let's pick up my poles. Ooh, off we go. Oh, it's lovely. You'll not be able to see it, but just down here I'm following this lovely stream up the hillside. Sort of lovely waterfalls and big deep pools. And the wind hasn't picked up, and at the moment I've literally just stopped and they're starting to swarm. The midge are out. I've got this t-shirt is one of the insect repellent ones. I bought it just before I came, and I've not worn it. I've had long sleeve t-shirts on for the last 6 or 7 days, but they were all absolutely honking, stinking, so I put this one on, and hopefully I'll maybe protect them, but it doesn't have long sleeves, so they're all gathering on me. Oh, I'm starting to get eaten alive. Anyway, I was just stopping to stay. I was just stopping to say, oh man, I need to go. I'm away to head into the cloud, and hopefully I'll be able to get through the cloud and emerge up above it. Right, I need to go because I'm going to be a pile of bones any minute now. I'll report back when I'm in the cloud, and hopefully with some breeze. Oh man, these are horrible. So you can't really see it from this footage, but the midge were horrendous. So I didn't hang around too long and got going, and soon I was heading into the clag. I've just stopped, so I'll do an update. As you can see, I'm well in the clag now. Pretty cloudy, and it doesn't seem to be showing any signs of brightening up above me, so I really don't know whether I'm going to get above the inversion, above the inversion, or above the cloud. I really hope I can, but I feel good considering what I've done for the last 6 days. Not sure when this video will come out, probably maybe just after I've completed the video showing you what I've done in Skye with Mr. Heaton. Had an incredible adventure from north to south, and it was a lot of hard work, and I thought I might struggle today, although I've not started really ascending yet. I'm about 350 metres, but I think the next bit's going to be steep right up, and so I'm feeling okay. I mean, obviously the backpack that I've got on is a lot lighter than what I've been carrying for the last 6 days, but my muscles feel alright, my joints feel alright. My eye's okay actually. I really hurt my eye yesterday. I don't know what I did. I initially thought I'd got sun cream in it, and then I thought I'd scratched it, but I've woken up this morning and it's fine. So that's my biggest delight of the day, shall we say. Right, stop waffling, Murray. Stop procrastinating. Take my head up here, and I suppose we'll find out on whether I'm going to be lucky or not. Right, let's go. Right, it's a very quick bit to camera. Things are looking promising. As you can see behind me, you can see, well, still in the clag, but starting to see things behind me. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. I don't know if it picks it up or not. But anyway, the atmosphere and the lighting is starting to, get lighter, which indicates I might be getting above the cloud. Really hope so. I'll tell you what else is getting above the cloud. Bloody midges are still here. So I'm going to keep walking. I'll report back in a wee while. Woo! Being followed up the hill by midges is enough to keep you walking, if not running and going into a sprint. They are ferocious little buggers, I tell you. Anyway, things were looking really, really promising, as you can see from this footage, and the views were starting to open up a little, and I was really, really hopeful that I was going to get above the clouds. Things were looking extremely promising. Well, you can see now I'm in the clear, and I'm actually between layers now. There's a fog layer below me, and then there's cloud probably about 100 metres above me, and I'm really hoping that the peak is just above this upper inversion, but the way it looks at the moment, it looks like it's shrouding the tops, and which I'll be really disappointed with, because the main reason I chose to come up this mountain is the view is just fantastic of the rest of the mountains. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to keep moving and get up there. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because every time I stop I'm getting attacked by the beasties, and I've got permethrin in all my clothes, I've got DEET, I've got smidge on, and they just keep landing on me. I don't know if they're biting or not, to be fair, but it's just the buzzing. I've got my buff on under my hat covering my ears, which stops them buzzing in about my ears, which is a big help. But yeah, let's keep moving and get these midges away from me. Let's even get to the top. Fingers crossed for a positive outcome at the top. So on I headed, and my route so far had taken me sort of round the mountain I was going up, and up a little bit, but now it was more of a direct ascent up, and the route I was taking me along a ridge, and my god, what a ridge it was. It was just absolutely spectacular, as you can see from this footage. And you know, even in these conditions, the atmosphere was a bit moody, but it was just lovely. I'd love to come back here when the weather's good and see those views, but I was still enjoying this as I headed up the ridge. What a place to be. Oh man, whew. A bit more steep now. And that's me on the ridge, and there's been a wee bit of easy scrambly bits, and vegetation is getting less and less, which means I'm getting towards the top. Still no signs of us getting above the clouds, so I'm not feeling too hopeful. Yeah, I would have thought that I'd have started to see some blue skies above me, because I think we're about a couple of 100 metres from the top, but you never know. Yeah, so it's yeah, a bit of concentration required. Very atmospheric, and yeah, let's just crack on and yeah, report back when we're near the summit. Let's go. Oh. The higher I got, the chill started to get me a wee bit, so I stopped just to put a wee thin layer on. It wasn't cold, don't get me wrong, but it's just one of these things. As you get higher in the mountain, it usually gets a bit colder, just to climb it. And the landscape round here is very Lord of the Rings-esque. It felt like I was in Mordor here. Not much vegetation and lots of jaggy rocks. Anyway, base layer on, and up I went a bit further. And as I was approaching the top, it started to brighten up a wee bit, and my hopes were getting raised as I approached the summit. Finally, I could see the summit trig point, and I knew immediately at this point I'd been so close, yet so far from that magical inversion. The sun wasn't far above my head, and I knew that had it been another 20 or 30 metres higher up, I would have been above the clouds. But you win some, you lose some. It was still a fabulous place to be. So this is the summit. Now, I can't remember how to pronounce it. Bruach nach Frithe, I think it's called. Anyway, it's the summit on the Cullen Ridge, which to me, as if you watch the channel, you know is just a fantastic place, a one of a kind in the UK. And you know what, we're so close to an inversion. Look at the sun's out. I just can't see any of the peaks of it. The cloud just needs to lower by about 20 or 30 metres. I don't think that's going to happen. So what I did was I actually took the drone up, brought the drone with me, so I'll stick the footage up now. So I took the drone up, and literally just above here there is a perfect inversion, but it's like just above all the peaks. So you know, you win some, you lose some. I'm not saying I've lost today. I mean, it's still been very nice coming up, and I might still win, but we've had 6 days winning before this, so I'm going to sit here for probably for quite some time just to see if anything happens before making a loop and heading down the other way. But wow, I might get my broken spectre in a fog boat. So that's those sort of conditions, so let's just hang around and see what happens. And that's exactly what I did. I hung around for a good while, but as opposed to the cloud lowering, it just seemed to be getting darker and darker, and the cloud was rising. And I knew that my chances of getting above the cloud were well and truly gone. Oh man, better watch myself. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but it's getting darker and darker, and what's happening, and this often happens, is as the day goes on and the sun's heating everything up, the cloud base lifts, and I think in a few hours it'll be beautiful. The cloud will be gone and we'll get great views over to the rest of the ridge. Unfortunately, I've got to drive all the way home today, so I don't have time to hang around that length of time. Whether I'd been here a couple of hours earlier in the morning, I might have got lucky and been up here. The cloud base might have been a bit lower, but you know what, as I said, you win some, you lose some. So I'm going to leave the summit of this black Cullen mountain and I'm going to head back down. The journey's not over, I still have to keep my wits about me. I think most accidents happen on the hills on the way down. People think they've done the hard part, but especially on terrain like this where it's very rocky, lots of exposure, I just have to keep my brain active and make sure I'm watching my foot placements, and I'm going to keep my poles out when they're appropriate. And yeah, descend down, so I might report back once I'm off the jagged ridge and back into the quarry where the going might be a little bit more easy. Right, let's get the stuff packed up. Let's get going. So I packed up my stuff on the summit and just made sure I hadn't left anything. I always like to just make a double check that I haven't left anything, because I've done that a few times before. And I was setting off on a different route down. I'd come up via the ridge, but on my descent I was heading to the Bruach and then heading down some steep scree slopes to try and get off the mountain. And I tell you what, they were steep and they were rocky, and I was glad when I got off the rocks and back down to the vegetation. I'm just starting to get out of the cloud now. It's a lot thicker now than it was when I went up. If you remember, I got between the layers of the inversion on the way up, but I'm below that point now and it's just been thicker and thicker. There's a bit of moisture in there as well, actually. A few drops of rain. So maybe it won't brighten up. I think the weather might be on the slide. We may have timed it perfectly, but yeah, still about, I don't know, 6 or 7 kilometres to go to get back to the van, so that's where I'm headed, over that way and round over there, because that's the way back to the slig behind me over there. If I kept going that way I'd probably end up at the fairy pools. Don't want to do that. Stay away from people at all costs. Anyway, not met a soul today. Yeah, interesting. But anyway, I'm going to shut up. I'll report back closer to the van. Right, let's go. I eventually dropped down below the clouds and was heading back along that path towards where I'd parked the van. And this had been my 7th day on the go, and I didn't feel too bad, but I was looking forward to having a rest day, shall we say. And when I got back to the van, I felt like this section of the adventure had been finished. 7 days on the Isle of Skye had been absolutely stunning. And although I didn't get that inversion today, and I'd been so close to it, I still saw it as a fantastic day out. And going up in these mountains, the black cooling, whether it be sunny or cloudy, is just a fantastic adventure. So I'm going to end the video here. Thanks for watching. As always, stay safe out there, and I'll see you on the next adventure.